What's up, guys? Today we're going to take a look at my Benchmade 63. Now, my 63 is actually on V1 fly tie scales and has also had IKBS style bearings modded into it, and those were done by Ben Parlee, who did an absolutely amazing job with them. I mean, this Bally has virtually no handle play whatsoever. That noise is just the latch pin rattling around in there. Now, these V1 fly tie scales, they've also been bronze heat anode and lightly orange peeled, and that was all done by the previous owner, and he did a really good job also on that. For a DIY mod, I mean, they came out pretty good. Now, to get this knife, I had to trade away my Crimson Select Rep, and that had a blade that was acid stonewashed and reground by Sam Edelman, and the handles were also modded by Madlag on Instagram, and that was a really good rep, and I will actually put a couple pictures of that here. Now, that rep you just saw, I was actually pretty sad to see that one go. But that was almost too nice and too rare for me to do any real flipping with it, and I knew I would more than likely get more use and more enjoyment out of a Flytanium 63 if I got it set up the way I wanted it. Now, particularly, I was going for a set of V0 or 0.5 scales, but those are so few and far between. I ended up getting this set of V1. And with the mods that they have done to them, they feel so silky smooth. I love this knife. When I first acquired it, I was actually really frustrated with it just because I fucking hate basic washer pivots, man. I'm so not used to that and so unaccustomed to that. My entire collection has been like weeded down to basically perfectly tuned bushings or bearings. So that was just like a total change of pace when I first got this thing, and it was on the basic washer pivots. Now, I couldn't imagine flipping this thing with the stock scales and stock pivot hardware. I know there are guys who do it and make me look like I know nothing, but these scales, they're pretty short, they're pretty thick, and very stainless steel, so they're pretty heavy. I mean, just for what my taste is and what I know that I like, I couldn't imagine doing any flipping with like a stock, bone stock 6X. And they're actually going for $340 right now, which that's on Blade HQ, but I'm sorry, just what you're getting for that money, that's insane. I would never pay that much for a stock 6X. I don't know what they were thinking with that one. Now, Benchmade is a US-based production knife maker who actually got their start making butterfly knives in the early 80s, then forayed into making production folders and went on to become one of the more prominent production knife makers in the world. They are the makers of the iconic 4X series, most iconically the 42, which in terms of pop culture, among flippers, among collectors, that's just the Bally to have. In every way, it's just top tier. Now, the 4X series was channel style titanium handles, whereas the 6X series is sandwich style. Now, from my understanding, it was a casting process that they used to make the handles for that knife, and the molds for that casting process had just worn out, and due to world politics at the time, the cost of titanium was just skyrocketing, and the culmination of those things led to the discontinuation of the 4X series, and in lieu of that, we got this, the 6X series. Now, the 6X series is sandwich style Zen pin, ordinarily basic washers. And I mean, the 6X series was just unanimously ubiquitously probably one of the biggest letdowns to the balisong community. I mean, it was just the opposite of what everybody wanted, the opposite of what everybody expected Benchmade to do as a successor to the 4X. I wouldn't even recommend a stock 6X to anybody. I mean, well, maybe somebody for like hard use EDC, but definitely not for flipping. Not without getting some titanium handles and possibly even doing some pivot modification. I mean, don't even waste any time with a stock 6X unless you're gonna get a set of Kuski rehandles, fly tie rehandles, have bearings or bushings modded in. I mean, because those are the things that totally transformed this knife for me and made it worth my while. I've also seen that Squiggle Scales on Instagram has some really tasty looking rehandles he's been working on for the 6X, and I would love to get my hands on a set of those and try those out. But for now, these fly tie handles have been treating me just fine. I've heard people say that the fly tie handles are like flipping pencils, but I actually disagree. They feel pretty good to me. I mean, could be a combination of the light orange peel that's on here. It does add just a tiny bit of texture to the handles, but I have no complaints whatsoever. At least not with the profile of the fly tie handles. But guys, that was a good look at my 63 on bearings. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Till next time.